This video is sponsored by Normandy 1998 and Ash. We resume smack dab in the middle of our journey to finish crossing the Azabe Islands, as the group has made their way out of the snowy area just outside of Sorosi Town, in preparation for Brock's lunch that afternoon, and in celebration of the recent additions to their teams giving them both 6 Pokemon now. Ash and May have decided to engage in a full practice battle, seeing as both are rather fired up to earn their last badges. To this end, Ash has also seen fit to use this time to hammer home a lesson he feels May will need before she faces her father, hence his decision to battle at first with Pikachu as his most experienced, and last with Claydol, who despite its immense power is a novice when it comes to trainer battles. Predictably, this leads May to meet Pikachu's strength with Combustions, proving she views it as her only option capable of taking a starter on. This surprisingly cunning strategy from Ash actually sees May play directly into his hands, as from here the task of defeating her other Pokemon are quite competently handled by Ash's Hoenn team, with Swellow making quick work of Marill, Grovyle slicing through Lairon's sturdy defenses, Corphish intimidating Zangoose, Torkoal burning Kecleon's tongue and rendering it unable to battle, so that by the time it is Claydol's turn, she only has Snorunt left, seeing her rather reluctantly but wisely forfeit the match to her mentor. Such a loss leaves May rather despondent, though having meant this is a teachable moment, Ash uses this opportunity to explain his thinking around her over-reliance on Combustion, both since, according to Brock, Sootopolis is a water gym so she won't be able to use it there, and also because such a tendency hampers her growth and her bonds with her other Pokemon, with this giving her a lot to think about before lunch. Meanwhile, as this is going on, Max watches from the sideline, his churlish gaze boring a hole in the back of his sister's head, so that soon she and Snorunt feel compelled to check on him and ask if he's okay. In truth, he is far from okay, as due to this May being allowed to live his dream of challenging the gyms, not to mention having a full team of 6 Pokemon earlier than canon while he still has none, he has begun to resent his sister, and so is fairly terse in his response when he asserts that he's just fine. This draws Ash and Brock's attention as well from over where their stew is being prepared, seeing them advise Max not to lie to them and himself, at which point he sighs and admits his feelings, even mentioning how there were multiple Pokemon they've met on the journey so far that he really wishes they could have brought along with them, like the Poochyena and Shroomish they met on the way to Rustboro. In a big brotherly voice, Ash tries to explain why it wasn't right to do so, though before he gets too far, Max's attention is drawn to a strange sound, as following this begins the events of Do I Hear a Ralts? However, there is a difference, as the group is earlier, and so Ralts' cold hasn't progressed as far as it would in canon, meaning Brock is actually capable of treating it himself, though before he can, Team Rocket launched their scheme to steal the small injured psychic type. Here a very different battle from canon and shoes, as while Ash and May's Pokemon are tired from training, they also have a larger and stronger force, all of whom have a good focus on battling, meaning Max doesn't really need to take Ralts the rest of the way to the Pokemon Center on his own while his friends hold off Team Rocket. However, Ash still encourages him to do so anyway as their best option, while urging May to let him go, while they trail behind to see how he handles things, as he thinks will be good for the younger boy after what he revealed to them. As she has a good deal more trust in Ash's decision making here, May is willing to accept this, though as it expresses a desire to be her brother's escort, she does send Snorunt with Max before refocusing on sending Team Rocket blasting off again. When the crooks are dealt with, the trio of May, Ash, and Brock go after Max, and are very impressed and proud of his tenacity and selflessness, despite how cranky and annoying he may have been earlier, as he doggedly makes his way to the Pokemon Center as fast as he can, even though at this point in time Ralts isn't in any significant danger of developing pneumonia or worse. On top of this, Team Rocket are also not able to delay him, meaning he doesn't have to do a lot of convincing for Ralts' family to let him help it, as they simply allow him to go on the rest of his way to help their kin, with a nurse joy from Sorosi Town easily treating the emotion Pokemon's illness, and giving it a clean bill of health and orders to take things more seriously. Finally, it comes time for Max to return Ralts to its family, though here May decides to reveal herself and resolve this tension with her brother by offering to bring Ralts along on their journey and letting Max care for it, with the promise that it can be his starter when the time comes. Here the Gardevoir and Curly are actually willing to allow this, as they sense how strong a protector the boy and by proxy Ralts would have in May, as well as the fact that they are kindred spirits, as they too are older sisters, so they entrust Ralts to the group, who say their goodbyes and move on to board their ferry in Sorosi Town towards Sootopolis, with Max and Ralts promising to come back and visit them someday when their journey starts. Due to May already having 6 Pokemon and not really having the luxury to part with any of them at the moment, the best she can offer is catching Ralts and sending its empty Pokeball to Professor Birch for safekeeping until the day Max is eligible to begin his journey. That way Ralts can walk alongside the group for now while ensuring a greedy trainer doesn't catch it for themselves. Not long after this, Sootopolis comes into view, with the sight of the beautiful waterfront city firing Ash up, as he's never felt more prepared for a gym battle, but once again May finds herself a bit nervous considering what Ash told her about this next challenge. challenge. Heading into the center of town in search of the gym, gang quickly come across Juan as he is privately preparing the display of a new piece of water art, though never being far behind. This also means Team Rocket come across the Sootopolean and his potentially valuable Pokemon. However, in a showing of strength, Juan easily sends them blasting off for the day, with this impressing and reminding Ash of Misty and her sisters, while May in particular really takes a liking to Juan's style, noting how despite her much weaker grasp of the art form in this timeline, it seems like he would be a great Pokemon coordinator, and so she is the first to request a battle, her earlier hesitancy beginning to melt away as her excitement for the match takes over, just as Ash had hoped. From here, their private boat ride with Juan back to the gym goes much like canon, as everyone chats amiably with the man held as Hoenn's most esteemed yet ridiculously humble gym leader, learning about his history as a top coordinator, and philosophy regarding Pokemon, and how he endeavors to make everything he does artful, which is part of why he loves water types, since while effortlessly graceful, they also have a glaring weakness to common types such as electric and grass, though in his eyes, this just makes them more exquisite, as there is value and beauty in knowing and embracing one's weaknesses, and being able to constantly handle battling in real danger, since in his opinion, this adds a frenetic spark to battling that nothing else can. Not to mention when one is able to achieve split-second timing, while also giving perfect commands and defending successfully, trainer and Pokemon can truly become as one, and so his artistic goal is to achieve these ideals in every battle, contest, or gym. These ideas only deepen the kid's respect for the water specialist, with Ash in particular feeling as though he can better explain the point he was trying to get across to May in regards to her usage of combustion, though it seems she doesn't need it, as taking to heart what Ash and now Juan have said, she fully resolves not to use combustion, while Max a little cheekily leans in to whisper to May and Ash that Juan seems like he'll be super tough, as if they didn't realize. Following this, the group at last arrive at the gym, where they are informed of the rules by the gym butler and referee Sebastian, who states that this battle is something of a hybrid between the formats used in the Grand Festival and Hoenn League, as the opening match will be a double battle that shifts into singles after the first two Pokemon on either side are defeated. However, as this is a 7th badge challenge rather than an 8th, this will be a 4v4 rather than a 5v5. With this all established, Juan reveals his double team of Celio and Seaking, while after a bit of thought, May decides to try something Juan had said, going with Marill to make use of its natural strength in this advantageous battlefield, and Snorunt for its freezing and evasive techniques as a means to up her defense as well. As the battle begins, May decides to start on the front foot, calling for a combo of Bubble Beam and Icy Wind to create ice bubbles, though showing why he is so highly esteemed, Juan is ready for this, having Seaking use a strong horn draw which creates a small cyclone capable of blowing away a great deal of the frozen bubble volley, before Celio's own blizzard strikes back, forcing Marill to take shelter behind its ice-type comrade. However, refusing to be a passive party, this is not where the water-type stays, as diving into the much warmer pool it begins swimming down to the depths, while Snorunt, who quite enjoys the brisk temperature, dances happily from floating platform to floating platform, leaving double-team duplicates in its wake. While this does a good job of drawing the enemy's fire, as Snorunt here is a tad stronger than its canon counterpart due to a bit more training, it also allows Marill to close in and breach the water for a play rough aimed at Celio, who is ordered to respond with an ice ball, while Seaking prepares a hyper beam. However, with its huge power, Marill easily bats this right back for big damage, creating a disruption that allows Snorunt to slow Seaking down with a surprise Icy Wind. Though putting his philosophy to use in real time, Juan orders a swapping of targets as the second ice ball is launched at the now revealed real Snorunt, while Seaking unleashes its hyper beam at Marill, who is given no choice but to create an Aquatal Morningstar in the hopes of protecting itself. Unfortunately, even the Demon Lord of Hoenn is no match for a point-blank blast, being sent soaring into the water where May cries out for it in worry, while Snorunt has no choice but to try and repeat Marill's feat of strength with a headbutt against the ice ball which is nearly as big as the ice type itself. Though, in an incredible force of will, Snorunt is indeed able to stop it, albeit at the cost of nearly all its strength, causing one to ask what they plan to do about the third one Celio sent right behind it, with this devastating attack finally downing Snorunt despite its ice resistance. However, as a droplet of hope in a bucket of growing worry, Marill reveals itself to still very much be in the fight, surfacing with an enraged look on its face as it washes the soot from the blast off of itself while huffing and puffing. Seeing her initial two Pokemon having both been defeated, meaning the first round continues, Sebastian encourages May to make a selection to join Marill, though to be cautious, as this will mean she will be at a disadvantage in later single matches. Nodding her understanding and taking what she's learned from the match so far as Ash would advise, May makes her next choice in the form of Kecleon, with the presence of the normal type intriguing one immediately, as he gets a feeling that May is preparing to attempt something far less amateurish this time. Proving the gym leader right almost at once, May tells Marill to use the weakest Bubble Beam it can on Kecleon, subsequently turning her normal type into another water type, who feels much more at home in the pool, even showing off subtle webbing which enhances its swimming speed considerably. Now with both of her Pokemon in the water, May orders the duo this time to focus all their attention on Seaking, having devised a cunning strategy based on what her Pokédex had told her, that its horn can smash even large rocks. Seeing the fire in her eyes, one wills himself to rise to the challenge, ordering Celio Celio to launch a fourth ice ball into the water, while Seeking is told to meet the opponent's charge with a horn attack. Being experienced partners, Celio and Seeking pull this command off flawlessly, breaking up May's formation and putting their focus into knocking out Meryl as the one closest to fainting. Though showing she was very much listening to the gym leader when he shared his philosophy, May adopts a strategy clearly inspired by him, suddenly ordering Kecleon to catch Seeking with Bind just before it can hit Meryl, who she subsequently orders to swim back over to Kecleon as fast as it can and grab onto it, an order the Aquamouse pulls off quickly, even if it doesn't fully understand what May wants at first. Though this all changes when one orders Celio to release its largest and most powerful ice ball yet, while Seeking is to try and free itself with another horn drill. However, in a moment of that split-second synchronicity the gym leader had mentioned, May tells Kecleon to use Thief, seeing it try to whip its tongue into the air, a difficult feat that requires Meryl's pure power to assist, though together they are able to pull Seeking from the water like you're on the end of a fishing rod, while putting it directly into the path of its partner's ice ball, meaning it is the ball who takes the brunt of the horn drill, sending massive chunks of ice raining down upon both of one's Pokemon, while kicking up enough water that a mist and short rainfall obscure his side of the field. Finally, when this clears and visibility returns to the gym, everyone is shocked to see that Celio and Seeking have been taken down in a double knockout, giving the first round to May, and allowing her to keep her Kecleon for a singles match. With the next round starting, both trainers swap boxes as the battlefield has changed to a more lakefront style, with much more ground to stand on, as one next produces his love disc, and May sticks with Kecleon, unsure if she can afford to heed Ash's advice in this battle or not. As the match starts, one strangely shifts style himself, going on the offensive immediately, and causing May to order Kecleon back into the water to catch it with a bind and lick combo. However, this is a blatant trap, as when Kecleon approaches, one and Love Disc change tech to a Sweet Kiss, which confuses Kecleon, and worse, reverts it to a normal type, leaving it once again ill-adapted to the water, on top of being discombobulated. Capitalizing on this, one orders a water pulse at full power that hits with enough strength to obscure Kecleon and cause a heavy rainfall that activates Love Disc's Swift Swim, with it seeming as though the Heartfish will need it, as its opponent has completely disappeared. This is due to the water pulse having knocked some sense back into Kecleon, as well as allowing it to reclaim the water typing, with it using the moment of confusion to turn invisible and dive into the pond. Now at last it reveals itself, springing up and repeating its bind fishing technique, now with an added lick for paralysis, making it clear to one that this match will end in defeat. Like Winona, he is not so cruel as to force a friend to suffer needlessly and so surrenders, bringing him to his last Pokemon, though also his most powerful and trusted partner, the effervescent sea serpent Milotic. In a demonstration of why it is one's ace, Milotic makes quick work of Kecleon, only needing a single hit to take out the tired chameleon, with this bringing May down to her own final Pokemon as well. After some thought and a moment of reflection on what Ash had told her, she calls on Zangoose, expressing to it both the high stakes and her immense trust in it, which even though it makes the cat ferret Pokemon nervous, causes it to focus on doing its best rather than worrying over the worst. Knowing she can't change course now, she has Zangoose get close with Quick Attack and use a Crush Claw, with the normal type dropping to all fours for extra speed, much like Pikachu showed it, to close the distance and swipe at the sea serpent with glowing claws. In response, one calls for an Iron Tail that perfectly parries the move. However, May encourages Zangoose to keep it up, having it unleash Crush Claw after Crush Claw that quickly strains Milotic's constitution and chips away at its health. Seeing the need for a more proactive strategy, one next orders Milotic to send the opponent flying with their Twister and Hydro Pump combo, trapping Zangoose in a vortex of water that one claims he's never seen a Pokemon successfully escape from. Then for good measure, Milotic also heals all the damage it has taken up to this point. Nearly robbed of all hope now, May frantically calls out for Zangoose to hold tough one final time, and then suddenly, she realizes something as the afterimage of her Pokemon fades from one's ultimate technique, only to appear perfectly fine not far from it with a slight blue glow emanating from its body and eyes, as Brock and Max cheer out excitedly that it looks like Zangoose learned Detect, meaning May has one more chance since Recover can't restore a Pokemon's defense, which in Milotic's case has been slashed by Crush Claw. Thanking her companions for their faith and support, May roars out fiercely for Zangoose to charge in for one final Crush Claw, which one again seeks to stop with an Iron Tail, resulting in a deadlock as Milotic uses its strength and size to send Zangoose shooting back into the water, where it resurfaces with swirls for eyes, and Milotic subsequently shudders and falters, falling into its belly much the same, unable to battle any further. Realizing this double knockout means her first unsuccessful gym attempt, May is prepared to take the loss, though to her surprise, Juan and Sebastian share a nod and smile before the butler-turned-referee makes the ruling that as May was the winner of round 1 and round 2 was a tie, it would only make sense that she be awarded the win and her rain badge. At first she seems quite hesitant, partially wondering if her father would accept such a win or make such a ruling. However, Ash and the boys all echo Juan's decision as completely fair, with her battle mentor in particular noting he's very proud of May and her team for achieving this without combustion, as now he thinks they're much more ready to take on Norman, with this at last convincing May to accept her badge and thank one for a great battle and important lesson. Meanwhile, Team Rocket return and pull a stupid scheme nowhere near the twerps, but even still make no money while attempting to take valuable screen time. Though as this happens, our heroes go to the Pokemon Center to rest for the night, with Ash reflecting on how one battled and planning the strategy he'll use tomorrow. For the initial double battle, he chooses a team of Swellow and Claydol in a similar thought process to May's, though with aerial superiority and more power, his duo are actually able to handle Wand's Whelmer and Whiscash rather easily, leaving both of Ash's Pokemon for the second round completely fresh. Thanks to this, as well as having already seen one battle, Ash is actually able to practice what he preaches and refrain from using Pikachu, showing May his desire to not see Combusken in this battle was not due to its fire typing, as he is rather impressively able to command Torkoal through a strong showing against Wand's Pelipper that ends in a double knockout thanks to a rather crafty use of Overheat. In the final match, it is Kingdra that battles for Wand rather than Milotic, which Ash answers with the likes of Corphish, who like its teammates performs far more impressively than its canon counterpart, even to the point of enduring an extremely powerful water pulse from the Sea Dragon that the Red Ruffian Crustacean counters with a pincer glowing with the might of a full power Vice Grip. Like in May's final clash, these two moves create a deadlock, though this is where the similarities end, as with a cry of its name, Corphish channels the glow of its pincer the rest of the way up its arm and then across its entire body, causing it to grow larger and more dangerous looking, as Brock's prediction comes to pass, in the form of Ash's new powerful Crawdaunt. Wanting to show that its moveset has evolved with it, Crawdaunt then slices Kingdra's attack in two with a guillotine, subsequently surging through the water and ending the match in a one-hit KO that sets everyone to applauding, none more so than Juan, as he calls Crawdaunt a most magnificent water type. Meanwhile, up in the stands, Max with Roltz in his lap takes a moment to lean in and whisper to his sister, asking if she thinks she can really beat Ash. Looking confused, May asks what the boy means, to which Max explains that with the Evergrande conference coming up, they'll have to face off for real sooner or later, and after watching that battle, he's not entirely sure who he'd put his money on. Though, this is of course assuming that she and Ash can beat their dad, since now he's all that stands between them and the league. And that's where we'll leave things. What further feats of growth lie in store for Ash and May's teams on the road to Petalburg City? Will they indeed have to do battle with their dreams on the line? And can May really defeat her father to earn her final badge? Find out as the journey continues.